What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Alolan DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. Now last episode we covered the very special and imaginative Pokemon Minior, and I gave you a choice between two Alolan forms for today's episode between Raticate and Exeggutor, and Exeggutor won out. Of course, it's got the longest neck around, so that's what we'll be covering today. But of course, next episode we have another Generation 7 Pokemon rolling up, and it's going to be a choice between the normal type Gumshoos and the fighting ice type Crabominable. Which one would you like to see? Let me know by commenting down below, either Gumshoos or Crabominable. But for now, let's jump in and have a look at Exeggutor. So Exeggutor is number 103 in National Pokédex, the Coconut Pokemon, and its Alolan form is a Grass Dragon type. It stands at 35 feet and 9 inches or 10.9 meters tall, so it's basically a palm tree, and weighs 916.2 pounds or 415.6 kilograms, so it's pretty heavy as well. It's in the Grass Egg group, which isn't too surprising, and the male-female split is a simple 50-50, with the evolution chain of course starting off with Execute, and then via Leaf Stone evolving to Exeggutor. Base stat wise for Alolan and Exeggutor, its highest base stat is actually special attack at 125, which is interesting. Then its attack at 105, health points at 95, defense at 85, special defense at 75, and then finally speed at 45. So basically it's a very attacking, a very offensive Pokemon with high attack and special attack stats. Ability wise, there's nothing amazing here. We have Frisk, which is the basic ability which allows you to check the opponent's held item. Useful in some cases where you want to find out exactly what set your opponent is running, but not too impactful on the battle as such. And then in terms of hidden ability, it has Harvest, which means it might create another berry after one is used up. So you have Chesto, you rest, you eat your Chesto berry, and then there's a chance you might find your harvest that Chesto berry again and get it back to be able to use rest once more. So it can be quite useful, and generally it is better than Frisk. Typing wise, being this Grass Dragon type, it's actually pretty good. It resists only 4 types in Grass, Water, Electric and Ground, but you see this first 3 there, Grass, Water and Electric, that is a quarter resistance, so it's taking basically no damage from them. However, it does have 6 weaknesses on top of that, with Flying, Poison, Bug, Ice, Dragon and Fairy, of course Ice being a 4 times weakness, so it's sort of balanced out. It's not hugely bad, hugely terrible, but it's nothing amazing either. And obviously neutral from the other 8 types, so no immunity at all, so it's a good type, but it's not amazing. Move-wise, for Exeggutor, first one is an evolution move, which obviously learns from Execute to Exeggutor, and we have Dragon Hammer. Of course, this is a very exclusive move to Exeggutor. 90 base power, Dragon type move, physical, so it's basically your physical Dragon Stab. It's pretty good, no secondary effect really, but it's just decent damage for you. Then, level up wise, we have a level 37 Wood Hammer, a more powerful move with 120 base damage, a grass type move. Of course, this time you do take recoil, so you must be careful of that. So those are your 2 main stabs, I'd say, at least for physical. We have 2 hammers. Then a grass special move, we have at level 47 Leaf Storm, only 90% accuracy. The base power is actually higher, slightly at 130, but of course Leaf Storm also will sharply reduce your special attack, which means you really only be able to use it once. You can't spam it out like you might be able to do with Dragon Hammer or Wood Hammer, so there is a slight downside to that, but it can still be pretty good, especially if you end up running a mixed Exeggutor. Then TMs, we have first TM26 Earthquake, another physical move you could think about running, good coverage, 100 base power, so it's decently powerful as well, and just generally a good move to run. Then at TM35 we have Flamethrower, somehow this gets that, 90 base power, fire type move, good coverage really in the end, and of course it's special, so special sets and mixed sets can definitely take advantage of that. Followed straight away by TM36 Sludge Bomb, nice poison type move. This is to handle any fairy types that come up against you, of course, because you are weak to that. Of course, where Flamethrower is against ice types, because you're 4 times weak to that. Then we have TM53 Energy Ball, the same power as previously, so just generally good coverage. Of course, it's an alternative to Leaf Storm if you don't want to have that huge power, with the downsides of the special attack drops, so it's just a consistently good move, I suppose. And then one final TM is an interesting one, TM-2 Trick Room. Of course, it flips the speeds over, so your low 45 speed becomes a pretty fast speed, so you could use it in that sense if you get Trick Room set up to start dealing lots of damage as well as being really fast, especially if you're going up against a quite fast opponent like Weavile. One hot scale move here is Seed Bomb. This is an alternative to Wood Hammer if you don't want to deal with the recoil. Only 80 base power, physical though, of course, alternative to Wood Hammer, but no recoil, so that's the benefit to that. One final move is then a tutor move, and that is Draco Meteor. So if you're going for the full special set, this is your Dragon type stab, 130 base power, like Leaf Storm, same accuracy as Leaf Storm as well. It's basically a Dragon Leaf Storm. of course, because also it reduces your special attack by 2 stages, so that's the equivalent of Leaf Storm for Dragon types, if you're getting a special attacker. So how might you use these moves? Well, we're going to look at 2 different sets. The first one is a Trick Room set, although they both have Trick Room on them because it's a really good move to be using with Exeggutor. But the first one focuses on power and the second one focuses on sort of longevity, I suppose you could say, or strategy. So in terms of moves, for the first set we have Trick Room or Sludge Bomb, Flamethrower, Energy Ball or Leaf Storm, and then Draco Meteor. Ability is Frisk here, but you could run a Harvest. The reason we're not running Harvest necessarily is because we have no berries, so there's no point in running Harvest. So Frisk is here to just get a sort of a read on the opponent's items rather. Then Nature is Modest or Quiet. Held item is Grassium Z, Dragonium Z, Choice Specs or Life Orb. And the EVs we have maximum health points, maximum special attack, and the last few in physical defense rather. So Trick Room, if you want to run it, is a good move. It's there. You could either run it as part of a Trick Room team, in which case you might have a Reuniclus to set up the Trick Room, or you could rely on Exeggutor to do so, in which case you lose that on the Sludge Bomb, because that's sort of the one move you can lose, I suppose. You don't want to drop a Stab, you don't really want to drop Flamethrower, because if you get an Ice type, you're pretty much screwed unless you have it. Flamethrower is there because of that Ice type threat, and then we have Energy Ball / Leaf Storm, and then Draco Meteor. So Energy Ball, Leaf Storm is up to you. You can go for Leaf Storm, but just bear in mind that you'll basically half of your moves, or 2/3 of your moves will be moves that you can only use once, because you won't be able to spam out Energy Ball over. If you've not got Energy Ball, you won't be able to say I'm going to use a Leaf Storm 3 times in a row, because you'll have no special attack, and you might as well just switch out. The idea is to have Energy Ball, which is a consistent move, decently strong, nothing amazing, and then once you set your Trick Room up, and if you really need to one-hit kill someone, then Draco Meteor is there as a last ditch attempt. You don't want to be running 2 versions of that move because it really just limits your possibilities. Frisk we've already spoken about. Modest or Quiet Nature is up to you. Modest, of course, boosts special attack, lowers physical, just power. And of course the Quiet Nature will increase your special attack but lowers your speed. So of course that's the instance where you're running Trick Room because you want to be as slow as possible. And of course hopefully you will have a low IV stat as well in your speed, so you can be just terribly slow. Held item wise, we have Grassium Z, Dragonium Z, Choice Specs, and Life Orb. So the idea here is because Grassium Z and Dragonium Z combo does Leaf Storm or Draco Meteor, turn into moves that are very powerful because of Leaf Storm and Draco Meteor's high base power to begin with, but you don't get these special attack drops. So you can actually get one huge nuke off before you actually have to then you can go ahead and use another Leaf Storm, because that will not have a special attack drop. So technically you get 2 Leaf Storms off or 2 Draco Meteors off, hence the benefit of running either of those. But alternatively you could run Choice Specs, in which case you'll have to use Sludge Bomb rather than Trick Room, of course, and then you'll be able to spam out the same move over and over. Or you could run Life Orb, which gives you overall power, doesn't limit you in terms of having to lock yourself into a move, and you don't have to think about those edge crystals. Overall power, so you can run Trick Room if you want there. In terms of EVs, we have the maximum special attack for all the power. There's no point in benefiting in speed, especially if we're running Trick Room set, so we're just maxing out the health points, so we become a bit more defensive really, and then the last few in physical defense, since that's our highest one out of the 2 defenses, so we might as well boost it up a little more. In terms of using this set, as I mentioned, we have Trick Room, so really you want to get Trick Room set up if possible. As soon as you go in, then you can be faster and start throwing off these really powerful attacks, especially for running Grassium Z or Dragonium Z, because you can get that huge nuke off to deal with whatever you need to. So say you Trick Room and they switch out into a Weavile, for example, that might be able to deal with you really easily, you're now faster. So Grassium Z or Dragonium Z, it's pretty weak anyway, but yeah, just nuke them off, one-hit kill, just to get 100% guaranteed kill basically, or Choice Specs and Life Orb, and then continue attacking. But the second set, as I mentioned, is a bit more strategic because we have Harvest as the ability. The move-wise are going to be Dragon Hammer, Trick Room or Earthquake, Seed Bomb or Wood Hammer, and then Flamethrower or Trick Room. As I mentioned, the ability is Harvest. Nature is a brave one this time, and we have, in terms of held items, Citrus Berry, Lumberry, or Yachi Berry. EV wise, we have maximum health points and maximum special attack, with the last few in physical attack. So the idea here is it's a mixed set, relying on our berries to keep us alive, and in which case we can then go on and do power. So Dragon Hammer is your main dragon stab. Trick Room is not as an option here really, because obviously if you set Trick Room up, even better, you're fast now, pretty good. Or you can run Earthquake for more coverage. Seed Bomb and Wood Hammer is a choice of a physical grass stab. Seed Bomb gives you power over time, whereas Wood Hammer is power in a nuke, but of course means that you won't be able to survive as long. You have to really get some luck in terms of your berries. And then Flamethrower or Trick Room If you're running Earthquake, you could run Trick Room instead of Flamethrower, but Flamethrower is the main move of this set, you could say. Hence why we have maximum special attack, because the Flamethrower needs to do a lot of damage. If the Flamethrower doesn't do much damage and doesn't take out the Ice type you're facing, then you're dead, because Ice type is 4 times weak against you. So you need to get these very powerful Flamethrowers off, hence the maximum special attack, because otherwise you're screwed. This is also why we have, well, in terms of nature, we have an increased attack, lowered speed, because of course maybe for Trick Room there. In terms of, if you're not running Flamethrower, instead you're running Trick Room in the last slot, of course do not put anything in special attack, that would be silly. Maximise your attack and then put the last few in physical defense. But in terms of using the moveset, Dragon Hammer, Dragon Stab, Earthquake or Trick Room. Trick Room is ideal, I suppose, because you want to run that Flamethrower in the last slot, but you could run Earthquake and Flamethrower and just not rely on Trick Room at all, or have someone else set it up for you. Seed Bomb, Wood Hammer, longevity versus power. Flamethrower is the main move to run, so please run that move. Harvest is going to combo with our held item. I mentioned already the nature, so held item wise we have Citrus Berry, Lumberry, Yachi Berry. Citrus Berry of course restores health points, so the idea is it's going to keep you alive and act as some sort of leftovers, I suppose you could say, some of health point restoration. Lumberry is an alternative because that's going to heal you from any status moves, so if you tend to get paralysed, that's going to screw you over, or burned, or frozen, or whatnot. So Lumberry is going to save you in those situations. If you're not going, so say you're going for power, obviously you're a physical attacker too, so if you get burnt, that's pretty much screwing you over, so Lumberry can be a fix for that. Or Yachi Berry, which of course, if you're unsure, this lessens the power of a super effective ice type attack, which means that you can survive, hopefully, a 4 times effective ice type attack against you, and of course keep doing that over time. Of course we haven't got any other way to restore health points apart from this Yachi Berry, apart from this Citrus Berry rather, so you know, Yachi Berry being harvested is okay, but really you're only going to ideally get 1 use out of it, because once you know, even with the Yachi Berry you're probably going to drop below half health, so yeah, not huge, but I recommend the Citrus Berry is probably the best choice here, because you want to be running the Flamethrower for those ice types. EV wise, we have the same as before. As I mentioned, if you're not running Flamethrower, please just maximise your physical attack, because that's what you're using. You could run physical attack instead of the maximum physical attack, instead of the maximum special attack anyway, but as I mentioned, we want the Flamethrower to do as much power as possible, because otherwise we're screwed. But that is, yeah, in terms of using the set, obviously you want to go in and set Trick Room up, or have someone else set it up for you, and you go in and you start doing power. Basically, you start doing as much damage as possible, in whatever way you can, using the moves you have at your disposal. That's really it, and just rely on Harvest to hopefully give you some good luck and restore your health points / save your life. But yeah, this can be it for Exeggutor for today. Don't forget to vote for next episode's Pokemon, either Gumshoes or Crabominable. Let me know which you'd like to see covered by commenting down below, either Gumshoes or Crabominable. But for now, this is gonna be it for today, so I shall be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.